Right, give up.
Wait, reload. Did look away shot then as well.
Hello and welcome to a brand new series of Limitless TV. My name is Emma and I'm here with Jamie.
Come on.
And we're both super excited to be with you over the next few episodes.
Yeah, so Emma and I are going to be journeying with you through a series which we're calling Taking Ground. Now, as followers of Jesus, we are given the authority and the tools that we need to reach unreached people, to go into unreached places and to try and reach them for and, of course, with Jesus. So over the next 4 episodes, we're going to be doing exactly that, exploring this subject together, along with some discussion questions for you and your group to talk through to help you journey through this together.
Yep, in this very first episode of the series, we're going to be looking at what it truly means to be a disciple of Jesus. In order to take ground, we need to know who we are and whose we are. And therefore, we're going to look at what it means to be a true follower, a true disciple of Jesus.
This episode is called The Cost of Discipleship. So Emma, if I was to say to you, denying yourself, what would you think of?
Right, so like when I think of denying myself, I always think of maybe like giving up something.
Yep.
So maybe giving up food, like fasting, or maybe something for Lent, or if you have to, like giving up your phone for a while, a bit of screen time. But that really is denying yourself.
That's true self-denial.
That's hard.
They're all really good examples. Okay, but how about if I said to you, as a follower of Jesus, that we are told not only to be denying ourselves, but in fact, we are told that we need to be dying to ourselves.
Dying?
Dying to ourselves.
Okay, well that sounds a bit extreme and I'd say a bit crazy actually, so you're going to have to tell me some more.
I will do that for you. So in the Bible, in the book of Galatians, chapter 2, verse 20, it says the following. It says, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So here, I believe what it's trying to say is that if we've given our lives to Jesus, if we walk with him and in step with him, that our lives should reflect him. And when we became followers of Jesus, we in essence died to ourselves. So that means that died to ourselves and to our old ways. That means that in our daily lives, we should be people who deny ourselves and who die to themselves.
Okay, so I don't actually need to die then, right?
Not literally. You'll be pleased to know we are very, very much called to keep on living.
That's good.
Good news, isn't it?
It is.
I suppose the difference is, as the verse that we read previously said, we aren't or shouldn't simply be living for ourselves anymore, our own dreams, our own desires. We should now be living in Jesus, living for Jesus and with Jesus as our primary focus and our primary goal, so to speak.
Okay, great. I think I've got it. So as followers of Jesus, as disciples of Jesus, we're meant to be people who do whatever it takes or demands us to go wherever Jesus sends us, no matter the cost.
That's it. You got it. That's it. You got it.
So there's another verse which I think of when it comes to this subject. In Luke 9:23, Jesus says, "If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me."
Right.
And so there it is, there, isn't it? Deny yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Follow me. Jesus, you're right, was really clear in his teachings. If we want to be his disciples, if we want to walk with him, we must count the cost. We must deny ourselves and follow him.
It's great. So hopefully, by this stage, we have established that the cost of following Jesus is great. And in order to be a true disciple of Jesus, we must count the cost. Very simple. However, it's also important to establish what the word disciple actually means and what does it actually mean to be a disciple of Jesus.
Okay, so we're going to briefly look at what it is to truly be a disciple of Jesus by looking at 4 different qualities that are associated with discipleship. The first of these 4 is that disciple is a learner.
Yeah, great.
The word disciple, when translated directly from the original Greek text, literally means learner. That means that we should always, no matter our age, our status, no matter how little or how long we've been a follower of Jesus, we need to be people that continue to learn.
It's great. Now, obviously, it's really important to recognise that people learn in different ways, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
But however that looks for you, in order to walk fully in your discipleship with Jesus, we need to be people who are continually looking to learn. We never fully arrive as followers of Jesus, you'll be pleased to know. And we must therefore be open to allowing God's Spirit to shape us. This means we're people who regularly read our Bible. We must be people who regularly pray. We must be people who regularly are serving others, who are generous, who are committed to a group of other believers. A disciple is a learner.
So good. So the second thing is that when you make disciples, you make a church.
Yeah, okay.
Now you may think this would be the other way round. Surely when you get a church, then you make disciples. But however, we want to suggest that this needs to be completely flipped on its head.
Really good. Yeah, so often we measure success by numbers, don't we?
Yeah.
How many people are in your youth group? How big is your church? And so on and so forth. However, it is really, really important to remember that our mission has always been to make disciples. Not to gather the biggest crowd possible. We are called to make disciples.
Yeah, it's really good. Some would argue that although Jesus had influence over many thousands of people's lives when on earth, his church actually only had just a few people in it.
Yeah.
Just 12 disciples. He gave a small amount of people true access to his life, and he kept a small amount of people close to him, and he journeyed closely with those 12 people.
Yeah, okay, it's great. So the most effective way we can measure discipleship is by asking the question, do the lives of the people in our church, in our youth group, look like the lives of the people that we see in the Bible? When we focus our efforts on true discipleship, that is when we get the church. Okay, and thirdly, true discipleship is a mix of invitation and challenge.
Yeah, it's true. In his book, Building a Discipling Culture, Mike Breen says the following. In less than 3 years, he, Jesus, was able to disciple a group of men, most of whom no one else would have chosen. And he taught them to do and be like him in such a way that when released, they would change the course of human history forever.
Right.
He was able to create a discipling culture in which there was an appropriate mix of invitation and challenge in a way that he related to them. You see, Jesus invited people into his life. He ate with the disciples, travelled with his disciples, he ministered with his disciples. He made his life accessible to those he was intentionally discipling.
That's great.
He also wasn't afraid to challenge them when and if they needed. You know, in Matthew 16:24-25, Jesus said, if anyone If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. Wow, what a challenge.
It's big, isn't it?
When we accept Jesus' invitation to a life of following him, we must also accept his challenges if we're truly going to be a follower of Jesus.
It's great. And then finally, discipleship equals mission. When you truly get what it means to be a disciple, when you understand the implications to what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus, you can't help but be on mission.
Yeah.
In its nature, discipleship is missional. After all, the great call to go and make disciples, the Great Commission, has the word mission right in there, believe it or not. When we truly get what it means to be a disciple of Jesus, we get this whole being on mission thing and what that looks like for us in our lives.
Yeah, before we can even think of what it looks like to take ground, we must be aware of what it means to be a disciple for ourselves.
Yes, good.
And to be a disciple will cause us to do things differently, to want to change the status quo, and to be passionate about that taking ground.